that we have to sign it before we can actually get any. So at the moment we don't have a large number available, but as soon as we're out of discussions with freedoms, we'll make sure that you can all get as many free condoms as possible in your student union. Go and get them, guys, as soon as possible. So I will come back at the next meeting and I will tell you where you can get them, and that's about it. Great. The motion that I was mandated to do, thanks John, the motion that I was mandated to do that hasn't already been reported on was about housing and about making sure there were 2 points. One, that relevant and actual accessible literature was available to students who are looking to rent in the private sector, and that is actually now available. I can confirm that has been done. It is now available on our website. If you type in private sector housing guide, hopefully you should be able to find that. If you have any problems with that, come and talk to me and I'll show you exactly where it is. The second part of the motion was about setting up an internet forum for students to be able to rate their landlords and letting agencies to let us know where problem areas are. Now the thing is with this, I haven't done this yet, mainly because housing in general in Aberystwyth town is a massive issue. We've got a massive lack of it. Many of you will probably know of people who had trouble getting a house this year. And so I'm trying to actually look at the bigger picture and discuss various parties, how on earth we can combat this so that students aren't in a similar position for next year of not being able to find a house. In fact, I'm doing 2 things. One, trying to improve the standards in town. I'm meeting with someone from the HMO office at the end of November to try and talk about how they monitor different student housing and how they can keep a tab on making sure that landlords are actually providing housing which is accessible to the standards that it should be at. I'm also trying to look at what can be done to increase student accommodation for next year. Obviously this is a little bit hard because I don't have a massive pot of cash to build any new housing or to buy any. However, looking into other options, potentially we're looking at the possibility of the guild setting up a letting agency and investing into a bit of property in town to be able to have that available for students, and that would be an opportunity where we could undercut some of the letting agencies in town and ultimately try and make them raise their standards. We're very much in early stages of looking into this at the moment. Hopefully at the next year I can give you a bit of a progress report on how that's going. And the thing is, university, doesn't matter how much I shout at them, how much I tell them that accommodation is an issue, they're not listening to me. So we're going to have to go and down a bit of a different route and try to improve it ourselves, because at the moment they don't seem to care that people are homeless. Yeah, so we're going to hopefully find another way forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Naomi, and I bet that housing guide is very good. I was have a house party.
Smile, they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on.
Move on to Splash reports, which and then press it again, and we'll see who's going to play something. John. So we're just going to have a couple of minutes of each Splash boss to say what work they've been doing over the summer.
Hello everyone. As you're all aware, this is my second term in office, and I'm not going to lie to you, we inherited something that was pretty much defunct, a democracy that was broken, and something which was completely inefficient and not supporting students in the way that it should be. I'm not going to go on about my predecessors too much, but we had some serious problems, and obviously there are a lot of serious financial issues in the last 3 years. So things on that, we're going to present the budget in a bit, so you guys can just ask me any questions on it if you want, and we'll go through it bit by bit. But we had a couple of issues with staff illness that have made the whole process slow down a bit. I'm not going to lie to you, times in higher education are going to be pretty tough. You know, and in terms of cutbacks and an increase of pressure on the student pockets, we need to ensure that every penny that you're spending is getting you value for money. I think it's pretty safe to say that this is going to be a theme of the evening. One of the things that you're going to find in the next couple of years, cost of living are going to go through the roof. For some of you that are living in halls of residence and private sector, you've already noticed a major hike in prices. and a major cutback in services. This is something that we're going to go on about in a bit. I think one of the issues that we've had, and it's taken a bit of a while to establish, you know, it takes a while to actually get under the skin of an organisation and actually find out what makes it tick. But I've got to say that we've been far too inconsistent with the way that we've supported students, and the way that we provide academic representation and support. And I can confirm now that the governance review that went through last year, which you guys approved, which introduced the new full-time officer roles and the exec roles, has made such a big difference. And I'd like to thank you guys for being so positive about it last year, because one of the things of this is we split the education and welfare role down to provide a student support officer and an education officer, and the core bodies of work are there. One of the issues that we had with full-time officer positions was they didn't have like a full body of work compared to the other officers, so it was quite an inconsistent layout. Granted, we did get rid of the communications and societies officer and merged it back to activities, but we've increased staff support on that side, and so far things seem to be going pretty well. And throughout the whole process of this, I really want you guys to give as much feedback as possible. So if you are encountering any problems at any point, or if you need any extra support with development, please just get in touch with us. Right, charity registration and company setup. One of the things from last year was we should have been looking at charity registration 3 years ago. We knew it was up on the table. We had to become charity experts, and I say that loosely. You know, in the first couple of months to set up the new Wheel constitution and everything. It's not a massive party, it's actually quite boring, but hopefully with a couple of the amendments I'm going to be hopefully going to this evening, we'll be able to get the organisation registered as an independent charity before Christmas. And I'll be able to confirm that in the next general meeting. Right.
It's going to give you another sort of 15 seconds to go in the report.
Right, okay, I'm not going to bore everybody. Core networks, I'm not going to go on about that too much, but last year we secured loads of funding. Beth is going to tell you loads about it, and we've actually got a full-time officer. Back then, support is going to be much better. NUS Wales with the council. We've also got nominations that open up tonight at 12 o'clock, so if anybody wants to go along and shape policy at NUS, please get involved. Residential support in halls, this is something absolutely massive that we're going to be going over, and you're going to cover it, you, okay, fine. Basically, there's I don't want my cynicism to sort of rub off on anybody, but we've had serious issues with the way that the university's acted in terms of transparency and accountability, particularly in the way that, you know, full-time, those people are working in halls of residence, full-time to support students are being cut back massively. Post-Brown Review landscape, I want to meet Aberystwyth. This is 15 seconds-ish.
Yeah, I think
if you look at the paper, it says 1.8 billion is going to be cut in the Wales budget. We found it yesterday. How that transfers across to Aberystwyth and higher education in Wales, we'll see. I'd like to explain back that value for money. And yeah, we're going to go through University Challenge and the appointment of the VC a little bit later on. So thank you very much.
Please answer.
Hello. Okay, so over the summer I've been really busy sorting out heroes, sorting out things to do with just being trained so I actually know what I'm doing with my life. Generally helping students who have been here over the summer, listening to their issues and trying to help them get through. I'll talk about residential support tutors. John's touched on it. Basically, a paper has been put forward to cut residential support tutors. You might know them as wardens, people who live in halls and look after people, you can go to with your problems, those kind of people. Basically, a paper has been put forward to cut down their numbers and to centralise them to a central location, basically just to save money. Now, the paper has been put forward without any consultation with the people who run the scheme. And John has a copy of the paper if you'd like to see it. And we're arguing that actually the people who are involved, they're like residential support tutors, haven't been engaged in any of the discussions about this. It's just been put forward without any proper research as to what the implications of it would be, how support would actually go down massively. And also at a time when students are paying more and more for their pools accommodation, they're getting less services. So